Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going through how to make a alternate R&B beat for artists such as Frank Ocean and Steve Lacy. I just wanted to apologize for the long layoff. I just was dealing with a couple health issues. I was sick for a little bit, and as you can see, my arm, I had something go wrong with my arm. But we're all good now, and we're ready to just pump out the videos. And today we're going to go through this Frank Ocean type beat. The structure of this video, I'm going to be going through the melody. I'm going to be showing you how to kind of get that realistic instrumental sound that most of these beats get throughout the melody. Then after, I'm going to be going through the drums. Typically, if you kind of hear these beats, what makes them so unique is that generally the drums are live played. They're live drum sounds. They're not just one shots dragged into FL. That's seems to be the case for 90% of Frank Ocean, Steve Lacy songs. And basically what I'm going to do is by the end of the video, I'm going to show you source on how to kind of get that realistic live drum sounds in FL. You could get live drum sounds as just one shots, but there's a specific way you can process it in FL to get that straight realistic sound as you heard previously. So it almost sounds like I'm playing the drums live. So stick around after the melody. We're going to be going through the drums, and I'm going to be showing you the source on how to get that live drum sound effect. So start off with this beat. Nearly all of Frank Ocean's and Steve Lacy's beat all entail live guitar. And basically I've got this guitar preset from Xenology. I find Xenology is the best VST for these kind of live drum sounds. And basically all I've done is I've added it's a 4-3-1-2 progression. Sorry, I wanted to give you guys the right progression and not say the wrong thing. But I always mess up with the numbers. But basically I've just laid the chords down, added a top line. All I've done is I've spent extra time messing with the velocities to get that real live instrument sound. I don't want any, in these type of beats, since they all use live guitars, you don't want any robotic sounds, any robotic sounding VSTs, anything that just sounds unnatural. Best in this case scenario, if you can play the guitar, but I can't, at least for the moment. I'm learning. Hopefully the next couple of videos you might see me mess around with the guitar, but you just spend extra time messing with the velocities and trying to get that real nice, realistic guitar sound. Because as I said, in these beats, they're all live guitars. So but it is best if you know how to play the guitar and you can play your own melody, go right ahead, and record it and mess around with it. So basically, I've just added an EQ for the effects, guitar rig, get that realistic amp sound, jazz amp, and some tape echo, some chorus, some halftime, a little bit to kind of get that ambient, that spacey kind of sound, and some pre-1973 to get that grungy distortion. Like not too much, but you get that nice distortion. Because if you hear most Steve Lacy's and Frank Ocean's beats, they're all kind of distorted, jazzy electric guitars. So basically that's what I've done for the guitar, and I'll let you guys listen to the pattern. The second sound, all I've done is I've just added a sub bass, just a little sub bass to fill out the low frequencies, and nothing too crazy. Just followed the root notes of the progression, and just added a couple kind of notes to kind of create that variation. And basically for the bass, all I've done is just EQ'd it. As I said, all it is just filling out that low end. And I'll play it out and let you know, show you how it sounds by itself. Again, nothing too crazy, just filling out that low end and making the mix kind of complete. So for the third sound, basically all I've done is I've added a pad from Analog Lab, and this is out of the Summer Nights 3 preset bank. And basically all this is just copied the same chords as the guitar. And basically the notes are kind of played out, and so it kind of glues everything together. See how the guitar was all spaced out? This pad kind of glues and kind of puts the sound all together. And yeah, and again, the same chord progression as the guitar. Basically all I've done is I've added an EQ. I've cut out the highs and the lows, so just kept the mids in there. Added a bit of Valhalla room, so this is kind of like just a bit of like gives it that room, like that live played effect. So you know, that reverb, and a kind of, yeah, the name speaks for itself. Valhalla room, some chorus, just a little bit of a chorus, and just this preset from pre 1973, this like distortion preset with Sweet Touch, kind of give it that airy sound. And basically all I've done is I've panned it to the right a little bit, because as you'll see later, I panned a different sound to the left, so it kind of gives it a nice the overall sound a nice wide feeling. So yeah, I'll play out the chords and show you how it sounds. Now for the third sound, all I've added was just some strings from SRX Orchestra. So it's just this preset, whistle, SRX. So it's kind of like a flute. Again, giving that kind of live instrument, giving that the song that kind of live instrument sound. And basically, I've just copied the top line of the chords, and I've added like a little bit of a transitional chord there, like a transitional note there for F6. And basically effects wise, all I've done is Valhalla room, shape of box. It was already, I didn't see the need to EQ it. It was already EQ'd, it was all on the highs anyway. So yeah, Valhalla room, shape of box, and it kind of gives the beat a little bit of that ear candy. So yeah, I'll let you hear it for yourselves. So now another sound, basically just like before, just another pad from Analog Lab. This one was a little more on the higher end, and again, using the Summer Nights 3 preset bank. So I got the low key pad, and basically again copied the same root notes of the chord. And in the effects, we've slapped on some EQ. So I've cut out, I've left a bit more of the low end and the higher end on this. So it's it's got a bit more sound than the other pad. And I've just slapped on some chorus again to give it that vintage sound. And Valhalla room again, a lot more than before than the other one. I've added that Valhalla room for that live sounding effect. And I've panned this to the left. So as the beat plays on, you've got the other pad on the right side, and you got the other pad on the left side. That gives that like nice wide sound. So yeah, I'll let you guys listen to the pad. Another sound we have added for this, I've added like a little nice perk loop to kind of complement the drums. And basically all it is just a standard perk loop from Splice. And I've chopped that up, and basically I've added, I think all I have is added some retro color for that nice sampled sound. I'll just show you. So I just use a sampler bit preset and just messed around with that. Decimal 2 to get that grungy kind of sound, and Valhalla room to get that kind of roomy reverb sound. And yeah, that just kind of adds a little bit of sauce throughout the beat. It kind of gives, because as I said in Frank Ocean's beats, these kind of perk loops, and basically any R&B beat, a lot of perk loops are kind of shoved in there for ambience. But yeah, that's how the perk loop sounds. And yeah, basically all I've done is I've chopped it throughout the beat. And yeah, now let's get on to the next sound. Finally, for the last sound of the melody, I've basically added just a phrase. This is from the Prod 7 3 a.m. kit. So it's just basically a nice little phrase to kind of go throughout the start of. I've put it at the start of each fifth bar, and yeah, it gives that nice little ear candy in the beat. Basically all I've done to it was I've obviously kept it the same. I've pitched it up 800 cents to get it in key with the C minor, and I didn't really do much to it. You can see it's on track 4. Yeah, added some effects, so some EQ, added some delay to give it that nice delayed sound. Some future verb. I just felt like this reverb sounded amazing with it. And I've added like a shape box preset, and I've just added like width, so just essentially more reverb to make it sound wider. And yeah, and I've kept that mono, so everything else will be mono. It just those 2 pads were panned to give it that wider, to give the pad the wider effect. So yeah, that's it in terms of the melody. And now let's move on to the drums. So basically, to start off, I just added a snare, on just a typical snare on every 3rd and 7th. And basically I've used a live snare to get that realistic effect, as I said. This is from Prod by Jack's drum kit, Analog Colors, and he's got a ton of really cool real drum sounds that he's recorded. And yeah, so I basically just got a live snare there. And then moving on, I've just done this simple hi-hat pattern. And with this hi-hat pattern, all I've done is let me just show you real quick. All I've done is I've just added, I've randomized the velocities and just added 2-step hi-hat pattern, and just took out and added some hi-hats where I thought would sound nice. And as I said, I've messed around with the velocity to give it that nice realistic effect. What we also can do, which I just remembered now, is you could go here and you could shift the hi-hats again to get that nice little off timing sound. Remember, live drums are not computerized, so they're not perfect. They're played by humans, so you kind of got to give it that nice off kind of sound. So it's a little bit off. And basically, yeah. So I've added that shift now, and the hi-hats would sound nice and realistic, like it's played on a real drum set. And that's what you want, because FL Studio, everything's computerized, everything's played perfect, and that's just impossible. So yeah, I'll let you guys listen to the hi-hat pattern. Yeah, so there you go. Again, that nice realistic sound. And basically all I've done is here now I've added an extra hi-hat, and I've kind of emphasized certain bits. So it kind of acts like you can kind of say as a perk or an open hat. I just thought it sounded really nice. I'll let you listen to that. So yeah, again, another nice classic vintage real drum sound. And yeah, just played here and there. I'll let you guys listen to it. So yeah, just emphasizing some of the other hi-hats. And again, just like I've added just a kick. Lastly, I've just added just a nice live kick. And yeah, and basically it just sounds like this. So a real nice kick from like a drum, nice live kick from a proper drum set. And basically I just copied just this standard kick pattern. Basically, I've played the kick every time the snare hits to kind of give that nice emphasis, and I've just added kicks around it. It's just a standard 5-bar loop. Yeah, and it sounds really simple. And now, this is how. Now I'm gonna go into the source and how I get these drums to sound nice and realistic. Starting off with the source, basically, there's a little knob here when you press main swing. Previously I had all these drums onto one pattern, and when you press this main swing, it basically just shifts it a little bit. Just mess around with it until it sounds well, because if you shift it too much, then the drums sound too off. But yeah, it shifts the drum off a little bit, so it gives it that nice realistic swing and a nice realistic drum sound. So that's how you kind of get that real kind of live drum playing kind of groove. Otherwise, if you don't mess with this knob, it just, wherever you put the hi-hat or wherever you put the snare, it will play, and it'll play perfectly onto that placement, and that's just obviously impossible with a drum set. And now I've got even more sauce to kind of give it that nice realistic roomy vibe. So basically all I've done is I've added all the drums. As you can see here, that's the kick, that's the hi-hat, that's the main hi-hats, and that's the snare. And I've rooted it, I've pressed, basically you select them all. So you can do Command Shift, you select them all, and then you press down the bottom here and you press route, you left click and press route to this track. And basically it kind of gets all the drum sounds that you have in those effects, and it kind of treats it as a loop almost into this effect rack. And basically I've added some retro color to give it that nice sampled sound, and I give it that nice spacey kind of room vibe, and that kind of distorted grungy sound. Same with Decimal, gives it a nice grungy sound. And I've just added a vintage compressor. This vintage compressor does 90%, like 80% of the work, and it compresses all the drum sound, and it gives it that nice realistic sound, vintage sound. Right now this one is free, and it does the job for me. But the best one probably for this type of stuff is the LA Tube. I think it's like $30. Just can't be bothered paying for it right now, to be honest. But yeah, I got this, and it does good enough, and gives it a nice compressed sound, that grungy sound. And I've added a bit more distortion, just the Punchy Drums preset from pre-1973. So now, how do I get that live? So it already sounds live, but how do I get that nice room live sound, right? Because when you play drums in a drum room, like you can that kind of echo gives it that extra like realistic sound. So basically all I've done is now I've routed this drum bus into here, and I've added Valhalla Room. You can add any not delay, you can add any reverb you want. But I thought Valhalla Room for me was perfect, because it sounds so realistic. So it kind of gives it that sound that the drums were recorded live in like a drum room. And the reason why we routed it to this track, it is so easy. We use the volume knob here to just determine how much of Valhalla Room will be heard. So basically it is so easy to control through here rather than having it on the original drum bus. So basically if you hear the drums, right, without the bus, I'll let you guys listen to the drums without the bus for a second. I'll take away the perk loop as well because they're not in the drum bus. But I'll turn it off and you'll see how much this source actually like matters. So we'll play it now. Sounds nice. Still sounds like, because obviously they're live drum sounds. But then when you go here on the drum bus, so it gives that nice compression. That's all the compression. That compression, you can just hear it straight away. Then we add the Valhalla Room, and it just gives it a total different sound. And you'll see what I mean by the volume knob. Let's say we move it all the way up. That's way too much. So with the volume knob, we're able to just edit how kind of strong you want the Valhalla Room to be. And I like it at that kind of volume. It just sounded perfect to me. And there we go. There's your nice live drum sound. There's the source. Basically with the swing, with the live drums, the drum bus, and the Valhalla Room, we've got that nice live drum sound. So now, our beat is finished, and I'll let you listen to it for the rest of the video. But yeah, before we get into the final beat, I just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning into this video, and let me know what you guys want me to do next, what kind of sound, what kind of tutorial you guys want me to do next, as we're back. I'm back. I've dealt with what I had to deal with, and now I'm ready. I'm more like so ready to grind and create more stuff, because when I was sick I didn't create anything. So now I'm having a lot of fun doing these random tutorials and showing you guys just what I learned, what I have learned, and just dumbing it down for you guys, because I understand how hard it is, especially for new producers to sometimes kind of see what's going on. I like to dumb it down and not use too much terminology, and just show you how it is basically. So yeah, thank you. Like and subscribe, and yeah, let me know what you want to see next. Now, time to listen to the full beat.